Gracious Mary,
as a secondary student, I drew freelance illustrations for a Mennonite publishing company in Harrisonburg, Virginia. It was primarily Bible stories for Sunday school curriculum. Our church was conservative, but the culture of this company was 2 steps closer to Amish. I was unsettled by a request in regard to the depiction of Jesus. They wanted him illustrated with no mustache and short hair.
Folks, they have a beard with no mustache because that's a rule. Have a beard but no mustache. They can't trim their beard and they have to shave their mustache.
Anabaptist groups associate mustaches with military service. It dates back to Napoleon requiring his soldiers to grow mustaches.
Long beard, no mustache. Really, what verse is that in? What chapter and verse is that? John 17 is that they basically teach what amounts to a total withdrawal from the world. The world. Now, when they say the world, they basically mean anybody who's not Amish. So to them, we're the world. Bible-believing saved Christians are the world to them because they're not Amish, because they have a mustache. You know, this makes me the world right here.
Back in the 80s, I received a letter from the publisher informing me they were firing me for having long hair. If I had to guess the length at the time, it was probably shorter than the historical Jesus had. But to be fair to the editor of Christian Life Publications, he was in harmony with the New Testament. Some Christians think that Scripture says little about the outward appearance. In reality, the Bible is full of verses that discuss the outward appearance.
Embracing me with a radiant smile behind his beard. What encouragement. What blessing. What a model from the heart of Greenwood.
It's interesting, some of the critique and criticism coming from Canada and from the States in dealing with the work, and that I'm making fun of. Even the, Jesus being painted without a mustache and udders tied to his head, kind of stream of consciousness, and that just, when I did the drawing, it felt right. It felt like the thing to do. It wasn't meant to be sacrilegious, and it did express some of my frustration with being told this is how I have to paint Jesus with a mustache and short hair. It could be, in a sense, a protest piece to the publisher. It was very intuitive in the composition.
Walk with Jesus today, walk with Jesus tomorrow.
I've anchored my soul in the haven of...
Because if we know him, then all the other aspects of that future which are unknown to us today are almost irrelevant. Now that's maybe too strong because we care about what happens to us. But they're almost irrelevant if we know him. Because if he becomes our future, we have nothing to fear.
He's among us. He wants to be known. And another element of this among, I think, and we talked about it this morning, it's not just the Sunday morning among that he wants. He wants to live among us. So on your Monday morning when the coffee maker breaks and when nothing's going right and nobody's showing up for their appointments and half your workers didn't come to work on time, are you responding like God's still among you? Or do you think, we'll keep him out here till next Sunday? God desires to dwell among his people, and that's the picture we have of Jesus here.
Each little star is a castle, shining a welcome so bright.
This century, we might see him come in the clouds. I rather expect that he will. Let's walk with him daily. Let's consult with him. One of the most revolutionary choices I ever made in my life was to decide to spend some time each day listening to the voice of God in prayer and then writing down what I was sensing from God. And I discovered that God is a speaking God, a practical God, that He has things to say to me every day. And I discovered in that walk with Jesus every day and hearing what God has to speak into my life every day, a new source of confidence, a new source of joy in whatever I'm doing in that particular day that was unknown to me until I began to walk with Jesus that way.
Verse 7, He's coming back. Everyone will see Him, even those who reject Him.
What happened? Was this really the Son of God? Was this the Messiah? I don't know what all went through their minds. And all his acquaintances, the women that followed him from Galilee, stood afar off, beholding these things.
There's going to be things in this book that talk about the second coming of Christ, which is a great hope for us as believers. And we can look forward to that.
One of the things that I consider when I consider a series of meetings is we have an enemy about us. I don't know how long ago it was, and Brother Rollin called me and asked about a series of meetings, and I don't know how other preachers find it, but when you schedule out ahead a few years, you're almost sure the Lord's going to come back before then anyhow. And so, yeah, I guess I'll do it. But the Lord hasn't come back yet, so here we are.
This is not a revelation of end times. This is the revelation of Jesus Christ and who He is.